Hi, it's Friday, and I kind of decided to do a kind of finish it Friday, and then also an explanation of my scrap cutting system. So for my finishes, I actually got I got the placemat done, so I have two placemats. Those are going to be going in my kitchen is like a hot pad actually instead of a placemat. We use them as hot pads, and I need to replace my old ones and have those as a backup. I got another crumb block done, and I got a bunch of scraps cut up apparently. Lots of scraps. My bin is going down. Lots of baggies. This is actually the last block that's like a conglomeration. I have started sorting my crumb blocks. Started sorting my crumb blocks by color. So this is the one that I'm working on right now with purples. So I'm going to try doing that, making them according to color for a while from this week. And this includes cutting up for projects. This is garbage. So this is my garbage bag. So once I've cut up my scraps, and I have these little pieces. So these are under half an inch or under, hopefully. Those go in here, and that's going to be, I'm collecting it and maybe using it for stuffing of something, maybe a cat bed or something. So that's the size of my stuffing bag at this moment. This is what I have for crumbs, and I will be sorting those by color. It seems like I had a lot of browns and greens this week, and that's going to be sorted by color. So what I do for my system is I take the fabric, and if it's fat quarter size, it goes into the fat quarter. So if I can cut out of it a fat quarter, I will cut out a fat quarter, and that goes into my fat quarter bin. If it's like a half, if it's with the fabric, and it's something I really like, and it's a quarter of a yard or more, I will probably put that back on my shelf. What I found, because I got a lot of fabric from a friend who passed away, was that there were chunks taken out. So what I would do is cut the piece off straight that had the chunk taken out, and then see how big the rest of it was, and then cut it or put it back on the shelf accordingly if it was with the fabric. Otherwise, I'd go according to, so if there's a big enough chunk of it for 10-inch block, I'll cut out the 10-inch block. If there's a big enough piece of it, then for the 8-inch block, that's the next one. Then I go with 5-inch block, and then 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, and then 1.5. And if there's length involved, I will do strips. So I will do either a 2.5-inch strip. Anything under that is just strips, considered strips. So this is one of my strip bins. You can see these are under 2.5 inches, and I will be able to use them for strip piecing. Some of them are smaller than others. Most of these are 12 inches or under. I have another bin for longer pieces. I decided that I needed to probably have that sorted, and this will probably get sorted by color eventually. Now the thing is, right now I'm cutting up all these scraps that are from over 30 years of sewing. So I'm not worried right now about using these. I just want to get them cut up. I started cutting scraps last year in January with my goal to do 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day of those 3 days, cutting scraps and then seeing how far I could get. I had to stop at summertime because I needed to do gardening. So I decided that was getting too stressful, because this needs to be fun, not stress. So it was too stressful, so I stopped. So I think I did it the winter months last year, and I stopped as soon as it started getting where I needed to be outside working more. I decided I was not going to put myself under the stress, and I stopped. And I did not start again until this January, after Christmas. I decided January 1st I would start cutting scraps again. And I think I'm going to keep to that schedule, although if I go at the rate I'm going at right now, I should have my bin scrapped up by summer. But if I don't, then I'll just keep, you know, I'll start in again next January. As I'm working on projects too, and I'm having scraps, I'm bagging those up, and I'm trying to do those, cutting them up into usable scraps from the scraps from projects, and I'm doing those first, and then going to my bin after I get my current project scraps, which right now this week I made a lot, so I get those done first. So when I cut them up, I have little bins with the sizes on them, and I just use these small ones, and this is 3.5 inch, and this is almost full. So I have a larger container that I will move these into soon. When this gets full, I move those into the larger container, but it's easier dealing with the smaller containers and putting the pieces in there while I'm doing this weekly. So I have another one for 4.5 inch. This is wonderful. So you get those jelly rolls. This is an art bin, and it's 2.5 inches, and it's made for jelly rolls. It fits with the fabric. This one is mostly shorter than width of fabric, and I have a whole bunch of these, and I will be sorting them eventually. But they even have these things that go in here that will hold them down flat for you, like so, like that. If I had another one in here, that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, these are wonderful. I think I ordered some from Art Bin, and they had 4 of these in the bins. I think I ordered some from Amazon, and they didn't have them in it. And maybe one from Missouri Star, and I think that only had 2 in it. I think if you order them from Art Bin, you get more of those things in there. I've had to move my 8-inch squares to a bigger bin. You'll be surprised at which sizes tend to add up more. I actually have a lot of 3.5 and 4.5 inch squares that came up. Now, you know those half square triangles that you cut off your binding or other things? I've been throwing them in this container, and see, these I had actually sewn together. As I was cutting them off, I sewed them together, but I just flung them into here. Here's triangles, and I will deal with these in a later year, not this year, but I'm just collecting them right now to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So that's what I decided, because I was like, those need to be thought about. So I have half square triangle bin. Now you have those so here's my crumb blocks. I've been throwing them in. I have an orphan block bin. I'm considering these for the moment, these crumb blocks, to be kind of orphany. They're orphans. So I have those in here. But like, you're working on a project where you had to sew strips together. Like that. I was like, so what do I do? So I decided I'm going to put those in my orphan block thing for now. This was something I had bought and I didn't know what to do with, so it's an embroidered block. I'm going to put that in there. Here's a couple more blocks. These were strip piecing that I had done for something and I never used them. So those are in here. I have a bunch of those. More. These were when I was actually like feeling like I had to work everything. So those half square triangles were all made into things, which will need to be dealt with at some point. Many different ones. So many different sizes. So I will just leave them in here. I'm considering them right now. Little orphan blocks. Although I did then start, because I had these really cute little orphan blocky thingers that I was gonna make into something, and then time got away from me, and I didn't. More half square triangles. This came from a friend's orphan blocks, so I'll need to do something with these. More little pieces, orphan block. A friend who's passed away, another different friend, had embroidered this for me on her when she just got her new embroidery machine. She made these for me, and I've just kept them, and I haven't decided what to do with them yet. So those are in here. More of these, like, you know, what do I do with that? But then I have real true orphan blocks there. Anyway, that's what this bin is. It's been collecting quite a bit of stuff. But the thing is that while I'm cutting up scraps, I don't need to be worrying about how to use everything. So my goal right now is just cutting up the scraps. Here I made another bin called Miniature Projects. And these are, I had a project that I had made, and I had these half square triangles that made these, and I decided that the scraps from that project needed to be all kept together so that I could make something with it eventually. So now that I've been doing that, I'm keeping a box called Miniature Projects with really tiny, which I have in the other one, but this is what started it, was these and these. So that's what I have. Miniature Projects, orphan blocks. They'll probably be brought down into other things, half square triangles, and then my other system for cutting the scraps. And the important thing is keeping them in containers that keep them in their flat shape so that you don't have to iron them and they don't become all messy. So in the meantime, I'm not like feeling like I have to do a project with these. But what I am doing is when there is a project I'm working on and they call for 4.5 inch squares, I go shopping. And I am working on the coriander quilts block of the month, and there's 4.5 inch and 2.5 inch blocks that are required. And I'm shopping in my already cut up squares to see what I have that I can use for that. And surprisingly, that's been very, very helpful, and it makes for a nice, really nice scrappy look to the quilts. So anyway, that's my scrap cutting organizing system. And if you have any questions, write it in the comments. and I will answer. And if I need to make another video about it, I will. And I will probably next week show you the state of my bin, my big bin, how much is gone. Nice, it's getting nice. All right, have a great weekend.